Tuesday.
Hey, are you tired of the media spinning the truth and pushing false narratives upon you?
Hang on.
Take a look at this. Over the last.
Sorry, I had Jason's show playing on my computer. Larry just announced with Jason that he is not coming on with us, and I have not sent him the invitation, which I am going to do right now, but I'm sure he's going to tell me that he's not coming on. So just give me a second. I am on my computer now, or my cell phone right now. I sent out so many text messages this morning that I have to find him. Hang on, he's down here. Let's see. https://StreamYard. Give me 1 sec to get this invitation sent to him, because I didn't do it earlier. This is probably him calling. Hi, I was just sending you the link. I heard you just say with Jason you can't do it. Okay, all right. You have money to go get what you need today? Okay, close enough. And all right, I'll see what we can get. It's okay. It's okay. I'll just do something quick with them. They can watch the show. All right, thanks. Bye. Yes, that was Larry. Sorry, he cannot do it. It's the talking he did is as much as he can handle. Hang on, let me turn my little heater off so you can hear better. I am going to put the link up there for Larry's PayPal. Not the link, but the announcement there. He just called and said he's feeling really, really, really sick. So did anybody else? Thanks, Julie, for calling. I called several numbers, and I left a message once. I did not get any live person for any of the offices. Sorry, my glasses are so crooked. I didn't get any live person for any of the Kentucky offices, and it seemed like I didn't even get a switchboard message in DC. So it seems to me they have turned everything off because they don't want to be bothered with any pressure from us. I don't understand, Julie, what you're saying about Collier, Corey Good, Emery Smith, or did you say something? Let's see. Do not leave your name, only leave the message when you're leaving the message, and don't leave a message too many times because they'll start recognizing your voice, and that defeats the purpose of our trying to do multiple phone calls. This multiple phone calls is called force multiplication, because and that's why phone calls work rather than emails. Like Larry said on Jason's show, if you send emails, they won't even open them. They'll just delete them immediately. If you send a letter, it just ends up in the trash. They don't bother. Somebody texted me this morning and said that they were only taking calls from Kentucky residents, but that is not true. Senator McConnell represents us as speaker and as a senator. He is voting for things that affect the whole country, not just his constituents. So Tamara, I had the same experience. The recording says we have such a high volume of calls. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. That is just the way, they answer the phone when they put everything on hold. They do not want to hear what we have to say. They don't want any pressure. And so, yeah, I mean, I was calling and I called and I called and I called and it would ring and ring and ring and ring and not go through. And then all I would get when it would finally go through would be the voicemail. Yes, they have to count your call, even if you don't leave personal information, because they're recording how many people call about a certain subject, certain issue. So yes, your call does get counted. If you get to say something, your call does get counted if it's on a machine. Yes, Chris, they are lying. I agree with that. Somebody asked about my plumbing. Yes, the plumber's been here. The water's back on. the service people have been here tearing apart all the damage that was done downstairs. So now I'm waiting for the adjuster tomorrow. And so going forward, and we'll see that hopefully they take care of it. In the meantime, in the middle of all this mess, I had a real estate agent come over and look. What a mess. So that's neither here nor there. It's just little issues that complicate life, right? Larry is very upset about what the rhinos are doing. He is very worried about what will happen in the Senate. He is concerned before Christmas, before their Christmas break, the decision was that they were going to just dismiss because the articles had not come over in a timely manner, and they were going to dismiss the whole thing and move on. And with the dismissal, Rudy Giuliani was saying that if he dismissed it, then it was just as if he was never impeached. But on the other hand, the House has impeached, he's been impeached. And so it is a, we've got a fiasco on our hands. Our president has been impeached with articles that aren't even constitutional and with having done nothing wrong. He even put out the phone call, the transcript of the phone call, which is problematic for world diplomats to wonder if they get to have a private conversation or if it's going to be broadcast to the world like this call to Ukraine was done. So it's problematic. What's going on is wrong. And we have got to stand by our president. And that's why we continue trying to get calls made to Mitch McConnell, keep trying to get through, I know we're trying all day. Same here, Chris. I had to call between dealing with all what I'm going through and calls and people out of the house and everything. All we can do is keep trying, okay? Q Point, I'm sorry, I am Larry's co-host. Larry is not here today, so he will try to be back tomorrow. He just couldn't do 2 shows, so I would rather not be here without him as well. So I take your point, and I agree with you, and I am not offended. I understand. Anyhow, Larry will try to be here tomorrow. He does have money for treatment right now. He will probably need an additional treatment. So I don't know that he has the money for that. So anything you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. Remember the website nicholslive.com has a direct link to the PayPal account. His PayPal account is nicholslive@aol.com. Well, I understand Q Point that it was an awful looking picture, but the bottom line is the Senate is getting ready to stab Trump in the back. And so he got a very graphic visual, and we don't like having to face the truth, but the truth of the matter is they are getting ready to stab him in the back. They are. And there are very few true people in Congress of either house that do the right thing. And so that's just the way it is. So I know that you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from Larry. He can't be with us today. Listen to what he had to say with Jason. And that is the update. He's very concerned about what the senators are doing and how hard it is going to be to find enough people to keep Trump in office. So be praying, keep trying to make phone calls. If you can't get hold of him, call Lindsey Graham. Say the same thing, let's not have this trial. Let's dismiss this. This is ridiculous. It's a hoax, and they should not be going along with it. Remember, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham are up for election this year, so there should be an opportunity to put pressure on them. So Leroy, you saying they won't make it home? They who will not make it home where? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, they won't make it when they go home. The senator, the people, I hope people will wake up and vote them out. So thanks, Aileen, for what you had to say. Larry doesn't know George Webb, so he cannot give an opinion on him. There have been some things that a couple of us have told Larry that George said that Larry said was absolutely not true. It's only been a couple things. So, people can get it wrong sometimes, but I'll tell you, with Larry and all his 30 years of telling the truth about the Clintons, he would work some days 20 hours a day on the phone with broadcasters all over the country and giving interviews internationally as well. And he could never, ever, ever put anything out that was not true. He had to be sure that everything that came out of his mouth, he could prove in a court of law. And he had the documentation to prove it. He never said anything that was not true. And so he gets very frustrated when some of us will ask him, we heard so-and-so say such and such. Is this true or not? And he says, absolutely, that is not true. I don't know where these people get this information. So when somebody has put something out that's not true, we keep following and believing, but we have to be very, very careful. I'm learning. There are some people that I follow a lot. I listen most of the time. And if they say something that's not true, I have been able to verify with Larry, but I'm learning how to discern between truth and error. I don't get it right all the time. I don't. But there are times when I'm beginning to logically think things through differently. And learning to think logically is not something that comes easily for me. But if I can learn, then other of us. Chris, running against Romney is a great idea, but he just won in 2018, so he's got another 5 years in office. Yes, there are many traitors in Congress. There are many traitors in Congress. I guess I agree with you there, and we certainly have problems. And yes, Craig, I have heard about that good information. There is a lot about the Clintons that is in Larry's book. 1 second. I just stuck it here I just stuck it in the drawer. Oh no, it's in the other drawer. Sorry, it's across I already moved stuff out of the room. So I don't have the book here to show you right now. And I'm sorry, it's getting dark here, so the lighting is going. A lot of the information about the Clintons is in the book, 28 Years to Nowhere. You can buy that book on the website, nicholslive.com. And, Larry is very, very focused on what's happening in Congress and what's happening with the Department of Justice. He doesn't do a whole lot that I know of with the FBI. He has done, he certainly has worked with some FBI people, and he's very aware of what's going on with the, FBI and a lot of things that are happening in Washington. But as he has told us, he hasn't even had a lot to say about what's happening in Virginia because he doesn't follow state politics. He follows what's happening in Congress. And that is the very, very tight focus of his life. So with that, if you can do anything to help Larry, send what you can. Greatly appreciate it. Buy the book. Get a Never Socialism sticker. We are really so close to flipping to socialism and communism. And I didn't get to watch the whole thing. Somebody sent me a link and I saw Pam talking about it on Jason's program. The Project Veritas has done some undercover work again with Bernie Sanders' campaign, and what they uncovered to me is very, very frightening with the threats of what would happen if Trump wins. We know that our country is very, very divided, strictly through the middle, 50% love Trump, 50% hate him. And whichever way this next election goes, the other side could very well rebel. So, the Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. When I was going through my social work program, they were promoting that all the time. And thanks, James. I contributed 5, so I did my job. I'm definitely real. So anyhow, now Barr was deep state. Right now, Barr is doing everything that needs to be done to help Trump and to help save our country. So your friend may think Barr is deep state. That's based on the past. I'm not sure your phone number, Johnny, so call me or text me and I'll call back. Look, research everything. Don't worry about it. My husband said the same thing, so I'm used to it. Trump won't be reelected if they throw him out of office. So we have to do our part. We know God wants him to be in office for another 8 years. And, that's very clear with what people have prophesied. But it only happens if we do our part. I think it was Lance Wallnau I heard recently say that, verifying that Trump is definitely given to us by God and should be here for 2 terms. But that only happens if we vote. That only happens if we find a way to stop the Senate from throwing him out. So we're in a very, very dangerous position, and we need to stop. We need to be careful with how easily we say everything's going to work out, because God is not happy with what's happening in this country. But don't forget 2 Chronicles 7:14. Larry has quoted that many, many times. And he said in 2016 that the only hope we had for saving our country was 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, not everybody else, not the people who are rebelliously protesting in the streets, but if my people who are called by my name, God's name, will humble themselves. So we need humility, not the arrogance we see all the time. And pray and seek my face. It's not just humble themselves and pray, it's seek my face. And then the 4th condition is turn from their wicked ways. So we have to keep a very short account with the Lord and make sure we're doing the right thing. And then he hears from heaven, forgives our sin, and heals our land. And it goes in that order. He hears, he forgives, he heals. So I agree. We don't consent to socialism or communism, and we want Trump to win by a huge margin. And I agree. If the Democrats get in, their freebies will never happen because they know that the Appropriations Committee will never approve the payments. So, we are all watching Barr. I agree with you. We are all watching him. And the verdict is not finished because of what he is doing. He has so many people that he needs to investigate, and he has a priority list. And his priorities, first and foremost, are the ones that were involved in the spying on President Trump. So he takes those people out first. Now, anyhow, that's enough about that. So, folks, I know we're only 22 minutes into the hour, but I'm going to stop early. And Chris, you're right. Sodom and Gomorrah would have survived if there had been enough righteous people there. And the only ones found were Lot and his 2 daughters. Even his wife was compromised, and she didn't make it out alive either. or she got out of the town but she didn't survive. So we do have a large remnant of people who are praying. Is it enough? We will see. But definitely prayer is based on faith. And don't forget, I think it's James 2. Chris, remind me of the verse. Is it 2:16? It's somewhere in there. It's either James 2 or James 3. I can't remember which chapter, where it says faith without works is dead. Prayer is the faith part. We have to put action behind our faith and our words. And that means one of the things, we have to vote next November. We're only, barely 10 months away from that. We have to vote. And besides that, we have got to be talking to as many people as possible about they have to vote for Trump. Because believe me, all the freebies, all the things that the Democrats are doing to hate Trump, to say that they hate Trump, all that they're doing, they are going to have a massive turnout, just like they did in 2018. We thought Trump's in, we got it. The Democrats came out en masse in 2018 to vote for the House. People did not vote for the Republicans. The Republicans sat back thinking we got this made. We cannot be complacent anymore. So we cannot be complacent anymore. And yes, there are things that need to be abolished. I agree. God hates the killing of the innocent. And one of the things that caused the fall of Israel was the fact that they sacrificed their children. And do you guys realize how often Satanists go into the abortion clinics at the beginning of the day and pronounce curses in there, and they are having their way? This is a very satanic thing going on with this abortion industry. I agree with you. It has to be stopped. And I appreciate some people I consider friends, even though we've never met. The people who are very faithfully at the abortion clinics are amazing. I've been to a few of the March for Life. I've babysat so other, so I babysat so more people could go, and I thought that was better use of my time rather than being one body. I could have 6 or 8 bodies at the march. But when we go to the march, people ignore that. The people who are at the march, who actually go to their congressmen's offices and speak out, that can make a difference. And I'm going to have to talk to Larry. I mean, I have talked to him about going to walking the halls of Congress, and I had found somebody a couple months ago that we went and walked around the Capitol building, but we did not go in and walk the halls of Congress as I wanted to do. So if anybody again wants to come and meet me here and go to DC, and let's walk the halls of Congress, and let's do it. I mean, we have to be careful about the weather in the winter. I don't do winter very well. But James, please watch your tone, because there are 2 things Larry said you are not allowed to talk about negatively. You're not allowed to talk about his friend Netanyahu negatively here. We're not going to talk negatively about Israel. And you're not allowed to talk negatively about anybody else in the chat, or anybody who's hosting with him or for him. So we need to be careful about what we're saying. So on that, I'm going to shut this down. Thanks for being here, Larry. Hopefully we'll be back with us tomorrow. Keep in prayer for him, because what he is doing behind the scenes to understand what's happening with his health more than we more than we know. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. I know a teeny tiny bit, and I know enough that we should all be gravely concerned. And let's thank God for what God is doing, what God is going to do. Let's plead to this God of miracles that he will pull off another one for us, because we are doing our best to follow 2 Chronicles 7:14. There's no naivete here, James. So please be careful about your tone, all right? Be kind. Say positive things here. That's what we need. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. God bless you. Bye.